What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Country Cut Podcast. I'm Jason, and I'm so excited that you all are joining me. I got some exciting stuff coming up for you on this episode, and I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you all. We're going to keep it simple this week, and I'm just going to hit you with a bunch of updates in the industry, some artists going on tour, and that kind of thing. And we'll go from there. And then next week we've got something really special for you that I'm really excited about and really looking forward to bringing to you. But before we start it, I said in my very first episode that I was always going to start every episode with a Bible verse, just for each one of us to keep in mind as we are listening and watching. And so I want to leave you with this one, or I want to start with this one before we get started. Our verse of the week. This week's verse comes from Colossians chapter 3, verse number 17. And it says, "And whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through Him." I think this is a very key and very important verse, and I feel like it ties in very well to the episode this week and what the episode is going to be about, just because so many of these artists, they've had so much success in this industry, and you're starting to see a lot of them give God the credit, and as they should, because God created us, and so we're called to give credit to the Creator. And so I really like the fact that that's happening. I like the movement of faith that's starting to take place in the industry, and I felt like that one was really fitting. And before I jump into it, I want to make sure to let you all know that no matter what you do in life, it could be the biggest thing in the world or it could be the smallest thing. Always do it in the name of the Lord. Do it for His honor, for His glory, and I promise you will be rewarded. Keep that in mind as we go about this episode. I'm really excited to bring it forward to you. So let's get into it. So this week we're gonna keep it, like I said, we're gonna keep it pretty simple. It's just gonna be tour announcements. It's gonna be and just general news updates throughout the industry as a whole. Let's get into it. So I'm just going to go straight down the list here of artists that I know for sure are out touring. Some artists that I've seen that have made some tour announcements. So we're just going to go down the list. I'm just going to go from the first one I saw up to the current one. So the very first one that I've got here on my list is Koe Wetzel. So Koe Wetzel released a little bit ago an album called The Night Champion is the name of that album. And so along with that album, that's also the name of his current tour that he's on. He'll be in places like Idaho. He'll be in places like Nevada. He's gonna be out in the Midwest a lot, and he's really gonna be all over the country. And so he's got some pretty great locations he's gonna be touring at. And a lot of people thought when he released his album that it was gonna go a lot back to his Harold Saul High roots, and so it was gonna be a lot of stuff like on Harold Saul High, like what you saw in Forever, or what you saw in Ragweed, or even heck what you saw in Sancho. And so with this album being out as long as it has been, I say as long as it has been, it's only been out a couple weeks. You're seeing a lot of people have mixed emotions on it. He was on Tracy Lawrence has a podcast called TL's Roadhouse. And he was on that podcast, and he said, these songs were written a long time ago, and we're just now putting them out. And so, he said that we're trying to get back to those roots, and people have mixed emotions. Some people think, yes, this is like old code. This is what we've been waiting for, and then others are kind of like, he's not there. It's still missing. It's still missing. He has come out and said that the producers and some of the writers on this podcast also were some of the writers in Harold Saw High album, in Noise Complaint album. So he said that. I mean, everyone has kind of their own opinion on it. There was a couple that I liked, and then there was a couple that I was like, this isn't the code that I remember. This isn't the code that I started liking. So everyone's different. Everyone's got different takes on it. So I don't know. My hope is that you'll listen to it if you haven't already, and you'll give your take on it. Let me know what you think. But I don't know. I don't know. Ko is great in concert. I love watching Ko in concert. I've seen him 2 or 3 times and at 2 different places, and he sold them both out. And he does an incredible job. He's kind of like that grunge country, and a lot of people love that. And he puts on a really good show. So yeah, he's a busy man. About to get married. He's a dad now, and now he's doing his own tour. So pretty big deal for Ko. Next on my list, Justin Moore. Justin Moore, the only reason he's next on my list is because when I was making this and prepping this out, I got a whole all kinds of notes. When I was prepping this out is right when he announced that he was kind of going to step away for a little bit. He didn't really say why, and then he finally announced that it was because he was struggling with alcohol. And so he went to rehab, and so he made that announcement, and he's now kind of made the announcement that he's going to come back, and he's going to try to shine a light on people that maybe be struggling with it. And he's kind of announced his sobriety, and so he'd said that it's affecting himself, it's affecting his family, it's affecting his band. It's affecting everybody in negative ways, and it kind of took the best control of his life. And so he kind of said that he was stepping away for it, and then now we finally know why. So I got to commend Justin Moore for that. I think it takes a lot for a man to admit when he's wrong, when he's messed up, and he did that. So kudos to him. I put Justin Moore down just because Justin Moore is such an icon in the industry. So many people know who he is. So many people know his music. I've got a bunch of songs that I like from Justin Moore that a lot of people know, and maybe some songs that some people don't know. So he's going to be all over the place as well. I personally have never seen him in concert, so I can't really give my opinion on it. But I know that he's a fan favorite even still to this day. I mean, he's been releasing music since since I was born. So he's been around a long time. Still a great artist. Still love his voice. One of the most unique voices in country music. So yeah, go, and if you get the opportunity, you absolutely should go and see Justin Moore. I have no doubt that you'll love it. So yeah. So next, moving on down, the next person I have on my list, in my opinion, is the most underappreciated and the most overlooked artist, I guess, in the industry. Well, I wouldn't say the most. One of the most overlooked artists in the industry, and that's Randall King. Randall King announced a tour a while back, and he stepped away as well. So he's back now, and going back out on tour. He's going to spend a lot of time out in Texas. He's from Texas, so it makes sense that he stops at every city he can in Texas to perform for his home state. But he stepped away as well, I assume, for family. he's a father, so he's got a little girl that's coming up on a year old, and so my guess is that music was kind of taking over a lot of his life, and so he wanted to kind of take time to do some self reflection and spend some quality time with family, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit. So family matters, and family does, and so I'm glad that he did. I'm glad he took that time, but. If you haven't ever seen Randall King, please go see Randall King. Randall King is great. He's one of my favorite artists. I've seen him 2 or 3 times, and I've loved it every time. His music, he's in the new school country music, but he still has that old classic country sound about him. A lot of pedal steel, and so there's not a bunch of like crazy wild beats and all that. He's still very very good lyrically. He's phenomenal. Some his albums are great. Even his EPs are great. So I've been a big Randall King fan for a while, for a long time. So if you hadn't listened to him, go listen to him. But Randall King, he's going to be headlining a tour. He's also going to be doing some openers for Luke Bryan, so he'll be opening for Luke Bryan as well. So go show Randall King some love if you can. He's another artist on the up and coming that I think a lot of people will love as much as I have. So some of the artists I just mentioned, Luke Bryan, he and Jason Aldean, a lot of people already know. They did a show at Sanford Stadium, which Sanford Stadium is where the Georgia Bulldogs play. The Georgia Bulldogs are both of their favorite teams. They're both from Georgia, so rightfully so. That makes a lot of sense. But they did like a collab show. Jason Aldean performed, and then Luke Bryan, or vice versa, I can't remember. But anyways, they did a collab show. They're going to go on tour. They're going to do a collab tour together. Now, this tour is only going to be about they're only going to do about 4 stops. So they're going to go to Grizzly Stadium, which is in Montana. They're going to play at Montana University on their football field. So it'll be their first one. They're going to fly and go to San Diego, California, and they're going to play at Petco Park, which Petco Park is home to the San Diego Padres. So they're going to be there, and then they will continue on, and they'll go back east and go play at Nationals Park and play after the Washington Nationals game, which the Washington Nationals are another Major League Baseball team. And then they'll finally wrap it up out in Vegas at Allegiant Stadium, and where the Las Vegas Raiders play, the NFL team. So that tour is going to run from August to December. Now, they both are currently touring, so they're kind of they're fitting it in where they can when they're both open and free, when they had some free dates. Luke Bryan's on his tour. Jason Aldean's on his tour currently. His tour actually just kicked off. Jason Aldean just kicked off a tour. So yeah, they're gonna sink it in. That's really cool. That tour sticks out to me a lot because those are two of the biggest country music icons of my time. And those are two of the biggest country music icons in the industry now. You know, of course, Luke Bryan does American Idol. He's a judge for American Idol. Jason Aldean's going to go down as one of the most decorated country music artists of all time. He's one of my favorites. I would put him in top 3 of my favorite country music artists. I've been to see both of these guys. They're both great performers. It's a great time. Jason Aldean, he doesn't go up there and dance and jump around and act all crazy. He'll move from one side of the stage to the other side of the stage. So he moves around a lot, but he's not going to, be like a Baby Zimmerman and go out there and do a bunch of dancing and jumping around, hooping and hollering. Now, Luke Bryan, on the other hand, Luke Bryan does have a tendency to do that. So Luke Bryan's a great entertainer. Jason Aldean does a great job with his shows as well too. His pyrotechnics are great, just like Luke Bryan's are. Luke Bryan, chances are he's probably going to get drunk halfway through his set. He sings one margarita, and by the time he's done with that one margarita, he's already absolutely blasted. So, it's they're both fun. So if you get the chance to take a road trip, for some of you it might be in your right in your backyard. So go check them out. They're both a really good time, and I think you'll be very glad. So moving on down, the next one, Riley Green. Riley Green, of course, is one of the biggest names in the industry right now. He's a ladies' man. A lot of women really like Riley Green. I don't know if it's the mullet. I don't know if it's the mustache. I don't know if it's the teeth. I don't know if it's the voice. I don't know if it's the physique or if it's all the above. I'm not sure, but Riley Green's he's on tour as well. He just added some extra dates to his tour because the demand is so high. So a lot of people there's still a lot of people that want tickets for his shows. So he added some extra tour dates. He added a couple extra tour dates in there for people to see. Riley Green lyrically is an incredible artist. I love Riley Green's music. I like his older music and his newer music, but especially his older music. Some of his EPs that he's put out are great. I love some of his EPs, and he's kind of like that laid back, cool guy. Likes to go off the grid a lot whenever he's back home in Alabama. And he was on Theo Vaughn's podcast here recently, and one of the things that he had said was that he really enjoys kind of going off the grid essentially when he gets back home. But he's got a 2 new songs out and 2 new music videos. One of them is Go Again. He's got that song and music video out. And another one, of course, is Think As You Drunk. He just released a music video for that song as well. So go check both of those out. I've seen both of those music videos, and they're both really good. So he does have a new album coming out. That album will release September 18th. The name of that album will be That's Just Me. So I assume it's going to be a lot of songs about Riley and how he is, that a lot of people don't get the opportunity to see. So yeah, that one should be really, really good. His last album is really good. There's a lot of really good songs on that album, and like I said, even his EPs. If it wasn't for Trucks, EP is Chef's Kiss. It's a great EP. Go listen to it if you haven't already. It's a great song. Behind the Time, If I Didn't Wear Boots, both of those on that EP are great. Are great songs. God Made a Good Old Boy is a great song. Great EP by him. Lyrically, he is so good lyrically, it's crazy. He wrote My Way. He was the only one that wrote that song, so he wrote that one all by himself, and that's a good one. There's only an acoustic version of it, but it's such a good song. It's a good song to listen to when you're kind of sitting by a fire or whatever else. So give that one a listen and show him some love. For those of you who don't. But one of the crazy things that he said on Theo Vaughn's podcast was, people love my dog. People seem to love Carl. I mean, he said Carl's got 150,000 followers on Instagram. So people not only love Riley Green, they also love his dog. So it's really cool. Riley's a great dude. I've never went and seen him in concert, but what I've seen from the public eye, he seems like a great dude. He's got to be if he's they're gonna have him on The Voice. So yeah, he's like I said, he's on tour. He's added a couple tour dates. If you can't tell, spring and summer months are really the months where country music is booming. A lot of country artists are starting to release singles. They're releasing EPs. They're going on tours. There's all kinds of music festivals and award shows. So once you get into the winter and the fall, there's not a whole lot going on. A lot of them are taking off time, to do things that they love doing, spend time with family, do their hobbies, go hunting, do whatever it may be, vacation, kind of time to sit back, decompress, maybe write some music. But then you really see it pick up right now, and this is the time where it's really starting to boom every year like it always does. So you can't talk about Riley, I feel like, without talking about Ella. So Ella, she's on tour right now, of course. Her Dandelion tour kicked off a little while ago, and that tour's going to end up breaking records. I feel very confident. She's added a couple more dates. I think she's added 3 or 4 different dates as well to her concerts that she's going to be putting on. She's got some really good artists that are opening for her. Dylan Marlowe is a big one that's opening for her that I really like a lot. Dylan Marlowe is a great artist. I've seen Dylan Marlowe perform live, and he blows the roof off the place. I mean, he does a great job. Ella, of course, everybody knows Ella. Ella's got great music that's breaking all kinds of records. Her Choosing Texas just went 13 straight weeks #1 on Billboard 100 list, which, by the way, I have a theory on that, how artists get that and how they keep it, and maybe one day I'll share that with you. I feel pretty confident that my theory is almost 100% accurate, but I'm not going to tell you that theory yet. Maybe one day, just not now. I promise you guys I would give you kind of some behind the scenes stuff. So one of these days I might tell you that, but right now is not that time. But I do have a theory as to why I think artists are able to consistently have #1s. But who knows? I might be talking crazy, but that's coming soon. Maybe. We'll see. That's a big if. We'll see what happens there. So, but anyways, so Dandelion tours, like I said, going to end up probably breaking a lot of records. She's had some phenomenal music she's been releasing lately from a country music fan perspective. She's really done a great job at paving the way for female artists of our generation to be able to kind of follow in her footsteps. She's come out and said that Reba McEntire kind of helped her pave the way, and then she's even looked up a lot to Miranda Lambert. And so now she's just returning the favor, and now she's inspiring a lot of female artists to go for it in the industry, and it's paying off well for her. The fruits of her labor and the fruits of all the labor of every single one of these artists is paying off. We're seeing, and so it's good for the industry, and I'm excited to see when the final numbers come out of how well that this tour does for her. So she's arguably, a lot of people like to say she's kind of the face of country music right now. That's debatable, but she is kind of getting that recognition. So I don't know, but Zach Top, another one that's going on tour. Well, I say going on, that's added tour dates. He's got a tour. And again, because of the high demand, his team's added more dates to his tours. I've personally never been to a Zach Top concert, but I know that they always sell out, and I know that because of the prices of them and how crazy the prices are for them. Zach Top is a guy that I think would be talked about a lot more than what he is now if he would release more music. He doesn't release music extremely often, and I think because of that, he doesn't get talked about the ways that he should, and the ways that a lot of people are surprised that he doesn't get talked about. And I think that's kind of, if he would release more music or hint more music, I think that would change things for him. But he's definitely blown up in a way that I think a lot of people really needed and really wanted. They wanted that classic sounding country. They craved it, and he's created that. He comes from a bluegrass background, and so he's brought that classic country into. You should watch videos of him guessing country songs. I mean, it's crazy, his country music knowledge. I mean, of classic country, it's insane. And so I love that he's kind of coming back and bringing that back. And he's another one you You absolutely should, if you get the opportunity to go see. He's still selling out places like crazy. I'll go see him one day. I haven't looked at a date to go see him on this tour, but eventually my plan is to go and see him. So we'll see. So I want to get into now some pretty cool little facts slash news that I've stumbled upon. And before I do that, I got to give a lot of credit to the sources I got it from. Taste of Country, Country Now, Holler, all those sources were a big part in how I discovered a lot of this information. So shout out to them for helping me get a lot of that information. So yeah, we will. I think that what's crazy to me is the fact that one guy that does not get the love or the recognition. I shouldn't say recognition, but doesn't get the I don't know, not flashing lights. I don't really know the word I'm looking for, but a lot of people he kind of flies under the radar in a way, and I think he's okay with that from a certain sense, is Luke Combs. Luke Combs definitely is one that I have loved for a really long time, and Luke Combs is mowing them down as far as numbers goes, as far as viewership goes, as far as everything goes, just about. And one of the things that really blew my mind when I saw this was he's been touring in Canada and he's been touring in Europe, so he's been doing kind of a world tour. And one of the things that really kind of blew my mind was he did a tour. He did a show in Amsterdam, which is in Canada, and during that tour at that show, there was $11 million grossed on that show. It ended up breaking a record, I believe, in Canada. Maybe I didn't write it down, but I believe it's in Canada. It broke a record for the highest grossing show in Canada, or maybe in Amsterdam. I don't remember. But it's just crazy that an American artist is having such a massive global reach that Luke Combs is having. It's insane. I mean, he's an incredible artist, and I'm so glad that so many people are starting to realize it. I mean, I can remember my brother saying that he would go watch him when it was $5 at the door to get in, and he would just sit there and play covers acoustically at little dive bar places. We went to the same college, and so he would play at these like dive bars all in the area, and he would put signs up on power line or on light poles and say that he was playing a show, and it's $5 to come watch him play. $5 at the door, and when you're in college, $5 to go watch a concert. Heck yeah, sign me up. And so, so seeing him go from that to what he is now, it just blows my mind. I mean, it's crazy the amount of. I mean, it's wild. The goal. I've heard that the goal with him is to ultimately have him kind of be like the next Garth Brooks, and I would say that he's absolutely trending in that direction. I mean, when you're sitting there and you're growing as much as he is, as quickly as he is, how could you not become that? I mean, and what's crazy is it's almost like Luke Combs. It's like he doesn't do it. He does it because he loves it, but he's like, this isn't my number one priority. My number one priority is my wife and my sons, and so he's perfectly fine with going on tour or going and doing a show, going back home, staying home for a week, and then turning around and flying to his next stop. Because it's like, to him, family matters more. And what I love about Luke Combs, he loves being a dad. He loves being a husband, and that is extremely admirable. And every man should love being both of those things. And I think Luke Combs is, in my opinion, he is the second best country music artist in the industry. I think right now, of course, you're going to have Morgan Wallen. So numbers wise, when you look at the stats, you look at the numbers, Morgan Wallen to Luke Combs, and you might could add one or two other artists, maybe. You might could throw in some that I listed, so you might could throw in popularity wise, Riley Green and Ella Langley, maybe in that category somewhere. And then it's like everyone else almost. I mean, it's like those two, it's like they're just blowing it out of the water right now. And Luke Combs is one of the ones that hardly any doesn't get that publicity, and it's almost like he's fine with that. You know, everybody hears Morgan Wallen and Ella Langley and Riley Green and Zach Top and all that, and then, you know, it's kind of like Luke Combs isn't necessarily forgotten, but it's almost like people don't think of him, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So I didn't mean to kind of get on that tangent of Luke Combs. It blows my mind that he's kind of just sits and flies a little bit behind the radar, not outside the public eye, but outside of the mind of people who think of like country artists and stuff, and you almost tend to forget about him because he's not just all over social media or all over, you know, the news or whatever, but he's just like banger after banger after banger after banger. I mean, it's crazy. The Way I Am album was great. I mean, that's a great album. There's so many good songs on there. Tell 'Em About Tonight is really good. Daytona 499 is really good. So, I mean, it's almost like you just can't release a bad song, it seems like. So, I don't know. That one just kind of blew my mind. I thought that was crazy that even, you know, people in other countries love Luke Combs as much as we do here. So, yeah. By the time this episode's out, it'll already be released, but Corey Kent and Jason Aldean have released a single, so that song is out. I haven't heard it yet because obviously this is pre-recorded, so I haven't heard that yet, but from the clips I've seen and heard, it sounds like a great song. So if you've listened to it, let me know. Let me know in the comments, and I'd love to hear your take on it. And that song, I'll give my review on it maybe in the next episode next week. We'll see kind of how it plays out. So one of the things that I thought was extremely cool, one of the best feel good stories that I saw of the week. Well, I guess it was technically last week too. Was Oklahoma officially announced July 8th as Toby Keith Day. So Toby Keith, everyone knows Toby Keith, country music icon, you know, had cancer, ended up tragically passing away, which hurt pretty bad for all of us country music fans. He's from Oklahoma, so he loves Oklahoma, but he's also a big Oklahoma Sooners fan. He's a big Boomer Sooner fan, so thought it was really, really cool that the state declared his birthday, July 8th, as Toby Keith Day. I loved that. I thought it was really cool, and I like the feel good stories, the stories that are really cool to hear and to read about. And so I thought maybe you all would like that as well. So I mentioned him earlier, but Garth Brooks, everyone, if you don't know by now, he is going on tour. If you haven't heard, Garth Brooks, one of the most decorated country music artists of all time. He and his wife, Trisha Yearwood, both, they've also at times said some controversial stuff to some people, but that's besides the point. He's very crazy how many shows he used to sell out. I mean, he's, like I said, one of the most decorated artists that's ever been in country music. He's going on tour, but I wanted to mention that not only because of who he is and how big his name is, but he's determined to not allow his ticket sales to be scalped. So he is determined to make ticket sales affordable for as many people as possible to come see him. And I think he's doing it because he knows that there's people that know who he is but have never really heard his music. And so he's hoping that if he can create this cycle to where he can make tickets cheaper, do everything he can to make tickets as affordable as he can, that he can kind of be the pioneer in this, and that he can, maybe there could be other artists who can fight for it as well, and kind of follow suit. Plus, it shows that he's not in it for the money at this point, because if he was in it for the money, he wouldn't be doing all of this. I mean, I saw an article one time, crazy, out the yin yang. People guesstimated that if he sold his whole catalog, he could sell for close to $2 billion. It's like, these people are nuts for that. But anyways, that's besides the point. He's not doing it for the money. I don't think, by no means. I don't feel convicted to the point to where I feel like he's doing it for the money. I think that he's doing it because he wants people to still hear his music, and he wants people to be able to experience concerts. That's why he's only doing them at arenas, because he feels like, he said that the arenas, he feels, are more intimate than doing them on stadiums. You know, everyone's closer in than they would be at a stadium. So he's going on tour, but yeah, he's fighting like heck to keep them very affordable, to where as many people can go to them as possible. And so I thought that was really cool that he's fought as hard as he has for that. So one of the sad things about life, about this industry and life, is you'll have artists that'll take steps away for their mental health or whatever else it may be. And most recently, Zach John King has announced that he's going to postpone his shows for 2 weeks, which is totally understandable given the circumstances. His dad passed away unexpectedly, and it's pretty sad. You don't wish death on anyone. Unfortunately, that's part of life. And until Jesus comes back, each one of us are going to face that until Jesus comes back. And so you hate that, and your heart just kind of hurts for Zach John King. Zach John King is on the up and coming. He's got some great music. He did an interview one time that said, "I remember being in Nashville waiting tables at the ACM Awards, and now I'm sitting here getting invited to them." So he's very humble in how he got to where he is. And I listen to Zach John King pretty regularly. He's got a couple songs that I really like a lot that I listen to, and so he's stepping away. He's going to be on tour with. He's one of the artists on tour with Luke Bryan. So I'll be interested to see, when he gets back into it, where he's going to be and that kind of thing. So our thoughts and prayers, of course, are always going to go out to him as he navigates that. Like I said, it's never easy, and it's always sad whenever that kind of thing happens. So I commend him for doing that and spending time with family, and going to family for comfort and being there for everyone that he can be, and kind of giving him time to process things. So when he comes back, go show him some love. When he's on his tour stops, if you can, go watch him. I know that it would mean the world to him to go out into his on the stage to sing and see it packed out. I know that would mean the world to him. So go check out Zach John King. Zach John King is a great artist. I love his music. So yeah. Of course, you can't do a country music podcast without mentioning him, but Morgan Wallen, of course, we have to mention him. Morgan Wallen, everybody knows Morgan Wallen. Even if you don't know country music, everyone, it seems like the first person they introduce people who want to get into country music is Morgan Wallen. So I like Morgan. I like Morgan's old stuff. I still think to this day Dangerous is his best album. I think Dangerous is better than One Thing at a Time and I'm the Problem. But that's just my opinion. I mean, everyone has their own opinion, so that's just kind of like mine. I don't know. I've always liked Dangerous, but anyways, he teased a new song. Been by now. He teased it a while ago. Well, I say a while ago, a couple weeks ago, and then here most recently, he teased a version on the piano. So he's playing the piano and singing it, and the caption says that maybe he'll release it before the boats get winterized, meaning he'll release it before it gets cold, meaning he'll release it while it's still warm outside. So be on the lookout for that. I would imagine that's probably coming within the next month, that song. He's touring right now, of course, on Still the Problem tour. That tour is going to end up breaking records. It is still, I mean, he's still selling out. He's still selling out stadiums. It's ridiculous. He's in Maryland, and he's going to end up selling out that stadium. I mean, he's in Baltimore and going to sell that out. So it's crazy, but he's come out and said that they've worked on new music. They'll be releasing some of it soon. So I'd imagine this is, of course, one of the ones they've been working on. I don't think that there's gonna be an album announcement while he's on tour. I don't think you're gonna really probably see that until we get into the winter months or even into beginning of 2027 probably. I don't see it. I mean, he's touring for a while, and he could honestly probably not release another album for a little while and still be just as popular as he is. But he's gone on to say that he sits here and releases One Thing at a Time was 30 something songs, and people were complaining that there was too many, and then he releases albums where there's not enough songs, and so I don't know. We'll see. An album is coming. I feel confident. I feel very confident that he's going to release one. When that'll be, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think that right now, his main focus, of course, is his tour. Plus, he likes being a dad as well. He's got his own radio station, and so he enjoys being a dad when he's not singing, when he's not on stage, and so it's. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So everyone knows and loves Post Malone. I personally was a Post Malone fan when he was back in his rap days, when he was just a rapper. Stoney is one of my favorite. Probably I never got big into rap, but Post Malone's Stoney album was one of the first ones that I really heard from start to end, and every single one of those songs I loved. And then he released Beer Bongs and Bentleys after that. That was a great album. And then he transitioned into the country music side of things, and so I thought this was really cool. I've never seen Post Malone in concert. My brother has, and says no matter how much the tickets cost, next time he's in town, he's going to go see him. He'll go see him every time he's in town. That's how good he is in concert and how fun his concerts are. Like I said, I've never seen him, so I'm not sure. But what I thought was really cool was the World Cup's going on right now. The World Cup finale is on July 19th. Posty is going to headline that. Actually, he got asked to headline the closing ceremony. So Post Malone will be headlining that. That's awesome. I'm sure that'll be. I'll be watching it. I'm sure that'll be. He'll do an incredible job. I have no doubt. So I'll be sure to tune into that. And we'll see how it goes. He's been very well welcomed in the country music scene, and it was very smart by him to come over to the country music scene. He knows so much about the industry that you wouldn't think he knew. I mean, you listen to him in interviews, and he knows it well. He knows the artist well. He knows a lot of classic country songs, a lot of classic country artists. So he's gonna fit in well with where country music is right now as a whole. So, but yeah, of course, a big topic of discussion the past couple of months has been Jelly Roll and Bunny. Jelly Roll, he did release a song shortly after he and Bunny announced they were splitting up. That song is called Hands Up, and it's more of like a faith-based type song. And so it's a great song. I've listened to it a couple of times. Really, really good song. Jelly does a great job. And he released a music video for it recently. So there's a music video out for that song. Go check it out if you haven't watched it. I've watched it. Really, really good song. He does a great job in the video. The video is directed well. It's produced very well. So it's lyrically, it's a great song. It's very touching. It's one of those songs that really tugs at your heartstrings, and I think that a lot of people as well will love it. So I should have mentioned this when I talked about him, and I didn't, so I'm jumping back to him. But another cool tidbit that I heard the other day on SiriusXM, Morgan Wallen now, he's got his own radio station on SiriusXM, and one of the things that he had said is, in radio, fun fact, when you're doing a DJ, when you're a radio DJ, you've got what's called bumpers, sweepers, and talk breaks, and they're essentially where you get options to come in and just talk on the air. So you intro or outro a song, and then you can also talk about whatever. So what's really cool is Morgan sometimes will come on the radio and pre-recorded, of course, but they're pre-recorded of him in between songs, just talking about whatever. And one of the things that he had talked about I thought was pretty interesting was, he's got Up Down. He and FGL have Up Down, and one of the things that he had said was, that was one of the songs that really kind of defined his career. And he was trying to choose between that song, and then he wrote Jason Aldean's song, You Make It Easy, and actually gave it to Jason Aldean because he was trying to decide between the two which one felt like would go better live and which one would kind of fit a live concert experience better. And so he had ultimately decided that Up Down would fit that better, and so that's why he chose to go with Up Down and then gave You Make It Easy to Jason Aldean, which, if you go watch the Up Down music video, if you go watch it, at the very beginning when he's standing on a dock with the guy playing the guitar, and then they both start laughing, that guy that's standing there is Hardy. That's Hardy with short hair, of course, and then that's Hardy when he's kind of starting to transition from just songwriting into songwriting and singing. So a lot of people miss that, but go back and watch it, and you'll notice that Hardy's standing there playing the guitar with him while Morgan's on the dock fishing or on the pier fishing. So a pretty cool little snippet that I saw a long time ago that I thought, hey, maybe nobody else has seen it. So I don't know. If you have, then you can just ignore me, I guess. But Raylan, she's another country artist as well. She just recently announced she's filing for divorce from her husband. They were married 10 years, and she's just now announced that she's filing for divorce. That's the third one that we've had in the past, month, I guess? Month and a half, 2 months. John Party and his wife are splitting up. Now Raylan and her husband are splitting up. And then, of course, Bunny and Jelly Roll are both splitting up. So you hate to see that. You never wish for divorce on anyone. When you get married, you don't ever get married with the intent to split up. But, there's a lot that goes on in people's personal lives that, they choose, it's not your personal life, you don't keep it personal. And so, who knows, there might have been a lot of stuff going on in between them two that they felt like couldn't be mended, and so they felt like they'd be better off, having their own separate lives. And so you hate it, but yeah, it is what it is, I guess, from a certain standpoint. So yeah, like I said, choosing Texas, I said it earlier, I've got it here written down. That's the only reason I'm coming back to it. Choosing Texas, 13 straight weeks at number one on Billboard Hot 100, on Billboard 100, 13 straight weeks. Ella continues to break records with that song. It's a fun, little catchy song. You hear that first little, 3 3 seconds, 4 seconds of that song, and it kind of like, I don't want to say puts you in a good mood, but it's kind of like, hey, this is a cool little fun song. So I don't think that when her camp made that song that they intended for it to be as successful as it has been, but that song's made her a lot of money and continues to make her a lot of money. So, like I said, I have a theory on songs going number one that maybe one day I'll share with you. Just maybe. So, we'll just move, like I said, we'll keep moving down the list. So, next, I talked about them, but, Bunny and Jelly Roll got a divorce. One of the cool things that I thought that I saw this week was, Bunny released a podcast on the divorce. She released it pretty quickly after it was announced. And she had said that podcast made her like $100,000. Now, if that's true or not, I don't know. She's the only one that really knows, so she could be telling the truth. She could not be. I mean, that's up to you to if you want to believe it or not, I guess. But she has since taken that podcast off of all streaming platforms, and she released a statement. And one of the things that she had said was that people deserve the space to heal, and so I think she's referring to both she and Jelly Roll. I think that they both are still in the process of navigating it. I mean, I understand, you see Bunny making out with a 23-year-old, 20-whatever-year-old at her ex-husband's bar. So, I mean, that's a little bit of, I can't tell if you're trying to heal or if you're wanting to rebound or if you're wanting to go back to your old days of how you used to be. I don't know. It's not it doesn't matter. But I thought it was very respectful of her to do that, because that podcast, she said, made her so much money, and as people continue to watch it, it'll just help her make even more money. And so she's kind of taking that down, and I have conspiracy theories on it as well. I don't know if that's done. That was done for publicity stunt, them splitting up, or if it was a legit thing. I know Joey's kind of come out and said that he FaceTimes or something before he goes out on stage. He talked about how much he loved her, talked about how she's his best friend, and she always has been. And for them to be divorced, to split up for the reason that they're claiming, and then say all that, it's just, I don't know. To me, it just seems like a publicity stunt, but who knows? It probably isn't, and I'm just talking crazy. But I don't know. Right now it's a little bit. It makes me throw up a question mark. So who knows? Let me know. Let me know what you think. But yeah, and then I'll close it out. But before I do, one more that I saw this week that I thought was really cool was Tyler Hubbard. FGL made a big comeback at CMA Fest. I personally knew that they were going to end up making a comeback. My guess was it was going to be them just releasing a single out of the blue and not telling anybody, but that didn't happen. I called it a while ago that they were going to end up making a comeback, because there were pictures and videos and conversations that they were having, and they both were together, or they would both talk apart from each other about how the respect they have for one another, and how they sat down, they mended things and all that. So my guess was that, but it didn't happen. It happened at CMA Fest, which everybody loved. They make the big announcement, we're back. Well, they're still touring. Well, Tyler Hubbard's touring solo, and so one of the things that he had said in an interview was they asked him, the plans for FGL, and the only thing that he had said is that they've got big things coming for 2027. So and that there's, we assume that means a tour. We don't really know. It could mean a tour. It could mean, an album, an EP. It could mean, I don't know. I don't know. My assumption is if it's a tour, it's going to be a tour like, they're just going to play tour of all their biggest hits. I don't know. All he had said was that it's coming in 2027, and he kind of left it at that. So I guess once we get closer to 2027 or in 2027, we'll actually really see what it was. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So we'll see. But that's everything that I've got for you really for this week. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and watch it and listen to the video. Having you all listen to it means more to me than you know. Thank you for the support that I've gotten from a lot of people. Thank you for the people who have doubted me through this. Each one of you motivate me to continue to want to do this. I love this. I love doing this, and you all kind of help continue to motivate me to do this. But please share this to other people. Share it. Help me share it. Help me get the word out. I'm still trying to grow this. I told you I would start growing it, and I've tried to start here with displaying the stars and stripes for America 250. So I've tried to start this and grow it. So it would mean the world to me if you would share this. Help this continue to grow. Of course, as always, subscribe so you don't miss anything. But just watching this video means a lot to me. Share it with friends, family, loved ones, your enemies, the people on the side of the street. Help get the word out. Each one of you, when I see where each one of you really enjoy these, it helps keep me accountable to continue making them. And I'm really thankful that I have that from all of you. All the kind words that I've received, and the questions of asking when other ones are coming out. And so here we are. This one is episode 2 of hopefully thousands. We're gonna see. Like I said, I've got big hopes for this. I want this to be fun. I want it to be informative. I want it to kind of pull back the curtain on a lot of things that a lot of people don't think about in the industry, or a lot of people don't catch on to. And I want to be the one to be able to bring that to you all. But I can't do that without you all's help and support. So the biggest way you can help and support me is just by watching the video, telling people about it. Like I said, subscribe to it if you haven't already. And then, of course, comment. I love when you guys comment down below. I want to leave you with a comment that I want to hear what you all think. If you could only see one artist for the rest of your life, and you could only see that one artist for the rest of your life, but you could see them anywhere you wanted to see them, but it had to be that one artist in country music, who would that artist be? Who would that artist be, and why would you choose that one and only artist to see? You could follow them on tour, you could see them once a year, whatever you chose, but you could only see them one time. You couldn't see any other country music artist in the industry. You could only see that one artist. Who would you choose and why? I want to leave you with that, and then I'm going to tell you all at next episode the artist that I would choose and why I would choose that artist. So thanks again, everyone, for watching. This has been episode 2 of the Country Cut. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, God bless, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all on the next episode. So thanks again, and talk to you soon. Peace.